A new political dispute is emerging in South Africa over something millions of citizens depend on every day: identity documents. The economic freedom fighters has strongly criticized a proposal supported by the Democratic Alliance that would allow banks to help process certain government services. At the center of the debate is a future of smart ID applications and whether private banks should play a larger role in issuing identity documents. The EFF says the idea could turn a basic right of citizenship into a commercial service. But government officials argue the plan is designed to make services faster and more accessible. So what exactly is happening, and why has this issue sparked such a heated political debate? Let's take a closer look. The EFF's strong objection. The economic freedom fighters has rejected the idea of expanding partnerships between the Department of Home Affairs and private banks. According to the party, identity documents are not just administrative paperwork, they are the foundation of citizenship. Without them, people cannot vote, open bank accounts, access government services, or prove their legal status in the country. Because of this, the party argues that the responsibility for issuing identity documents should remain entirely under the control of the state. In a strongly worded statement, the party warned that allowing banks to handle identity documentation services could open the door to privatization of essential government functions. The EFF believes this could ultimately turn a basic public service into a profit-driven system where private companies may influence how citizens access their legal identity documents. The party says such services must never become a commercial product. Instead, they argue that the government should focus on strengthening public institutions responsible for delivering these services. How the bank partnership works. The debate comes as the Department of Home Affairs continues to roll out digitized smart ID services in partnership with selected bank branches. Under the current system, South Africans can begin their smart ID or passport application online and then complete certain steps at participating bank branches. The goal of this system is to reduce congestion at traditional Home Affairs offices, which have long been criticized for long queues and slow processing times. At the moment, the service is available at a limited number of bank branches. Banks participating in the system include Capitec Bank, Standard Bank. Officials say the number of participating branches is expected to increase from 9 to 17 in the near future. Other financial institutions are also preparing to join the program. For example, First National Bank is reportedly nearing the end of its testing phase before launching the service in selected branches. Government's vision for digital services. The initiative is being championed by Leon Schreiber, who believes the partnership between government and banks could dramatically improve how citizens access public services. According to Schreiber, the goal is to modernize the delivery of public services by using existing infrastructure and digital technology. Instead of forcing people to visit crowded government offices, the idea is to bring services closer to communities through institutions that already have secure systems and widespread locations. Schreiber says this approach represents a fundamental shift in how public services are delivered. In his words, the government wants to invert the traditional model. Rather than making citizens travel to government offices and endure long waiting times, the plan is to bring government services to locations people already use regularly. Supporters of the initiative argue that banks have advanced security systems, digital infrastructure, and trained staff, which could make the process faster and more efficient. The bigger debate: public services versus private partnerships. The dispute highlights a broader political debate in South Africa. On one side are those who believe public services should remain fully under government control, especially when those services are tied to citizenship rights. On the other side are those who argue that public-private partnerships can improve efficiency and help governments deliver services more effectively. Supporters of the bank partnership say the goal is not to privatize identity documents, but simply to expand access points where citizens can apply for them. They argue that the Department of Home Affairs will continue to control the entire system, including the verification and approval of applications. Banks would only assist with processing and capturing applications, not issuing identity documents independently. Why identity documents matter. Identity documents are one of the most important forms of official identification in South Africa. They are required for voting in elections, accessing social services, opening bank accounts, registering for education, applying for jobs. Because of their importance, any changes to how these documents are issued often attract significant political attention. For many South Africans, the debate is also about trust in institutions and whether critical government responsibilities should ever involve private companies. What happens next? For now, the Smart ID program involving banks continues to expand gradually. Government officials say more bank branches are expected to join the program as technical testing is completed. At the same time, political parties like the EFF are likely to continue raising concerns about the potential long-term implications of the policy. As South Africa continues its push towards digital government services, the debate over efficiency, accessibility, and public accountability is likely to remain at the center of national politics. The rollout of Smart ID services through bank partnerships could transform how millions of South Africans access essential government documentation. But the political debate surrounding the initiative shows that questions about public control, private involvement, and citizens' rights remain deeply important. As the program expands, the key question will be whether these partnerships can deliver faster services while still protecting the principle that identity documentation remains a public right, not a commercial product.